Greetings, this is the Get to Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines. I was called to the location of Three Oaks apartment, and I recorded and I did live streams up to Facebook. I must say that it's a strange thing that is happening across this country. Blacks are being shot by police officers. And this is nothing new. This goes back to the time when blacks came to this country and they was murdered outright, considered three-fifths of a human being. The Dred Scott decision of 1857 said that no black man had any rights that a white man was bound to respect. And so looking back over what has happened the last few days, it seems as if though very little has changed. But I read the Valdosta Daily Times article, and it seems to me that there still is something gravely wrong in this country. There was people who asked Reverend Rose questions, and I think that the questions that was asked, and as well as his response, was of a caliber that the people here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, and around the nation probably would love to have heard. And so the Valdosta Daily Times ignored all of those people. However, what I did is that I did go through and record it. And in this video, you will see those people because once again, you will hear them. And once again, that's because I do believe in freedom of the press, freedom of speech, and your right to know. I'm asking you to sit back, relax, and see what we have recorded, because I am amazed as well as disappointed in this country when it comes down to freedom of the press and the things that we espouse to around the world in terms of being a nation of laws. But it's getting very, very serious that, in my opinion, that no black person should enlist in the United States Armed Forces until this government began to treat blacks in a way that is respectful as all other human beings that lives here in the United States of America. Once again, I'm George Boston Rhymes, and I do this because I am sick and tired of us watching news and thinking that we are getting the news when all we are getting is another dose of indoctrination that will keep us all deaf, dumb, and blind to the times and unable to make intelligent decisions based on facts.
Rose Blanche Voices representing WHLJ Foxy 97.5.
Yeah.
Would you agree that part of the problem that's ongoing in this country is because we fail as a country to admit that there is in fact a black and white issue? And as long as we don't face the issue, we can't fix the issue?
Since slavery, there's always been a black-white issue in this country, and we never want to say it. This country has never even apologized for slavery. Not one time, not under any president, including Barack Obama. They've never said racism exists in this country. They've never said, well, slavery was wrong. It was morally wrong. It should never have happened. Now, everybody has gotten reparations in this country but black folk. Everybody. The Jews got reparations. The Japanese got reparations. We just never got them. Because to give reparations means that you got to repair something that you did wrong.
Thank you, sir.
Reverend George Boston, to Get to Free Press. My question is, have you checked into, or anyone checked into, the number of white police officers like in Baton Rouge versus the number of black police as well as in the other location? Because there's a great possibility that these people do not work in the community, therefore they cannot identify with the people that live there.
Well, I'm not an Indian. I have no right to go into an Indian reservation and teach Indian children. You're not just teaching children, you're teaching Indian children. White folks that don't live on the reservation always have reservations about people who do. And when it comes to black folk, whites don't live on this reservation, so they have reservations about us. And they have reservations about us because they don't know us. We know them, we've had to learn them ever since we've been here. But they don't know us. Some of them are afraid of us, and some of them are just downright racist.
Reverend, another question, if I may. Also, the question is always asked to the black community once incidents such as this happen. The question is, why do they always call on the black leadership as well as the black pastors for calmness? Do they ever do that with any other people, or why do you think they do?
No. Well, let me say this. If somebody from Mars came here today and asked, where are the black leaders? They'll say, oh, that's Reverend Rose, that's Reverend Walker, that's Reverend. But they don't say, oh, that's Reverend Moon from over at First United Methodist, or that's Reverend so-and-so at that white church or that white church. Because they don't consider white preachers leaders. They would talk to the business people. Maybe some of the politicians, but mainly business people. That's who they would talk to, because that's who they would consider leaders.
Reverend Rose, another question.
Yes.
How would you respond to the fact that the choice of words that are being used by social media, media, for instance, when the black men were killed, it was called a shooting. When the white officers were killed, it was called an ambush. It reminds me of our history books that state when the Native Americans won a battle, it was called a massacre. And when the white people won a war or a battle, it was called a victory. Seems as though history hasn't changed much.
No. The reason that we were brought here to this country was to make money for white folks. That has not changed. Indians would not bow. They would not bend. So they just simply massacred them. And those that they didn't kill, they sent them off on a reservation to die.
Reverend, one final question for me, and that is this. I heard you mention about our police chief and what he has done to try to keep things on even keel, if you will. My question is, why do you give him accolades? Because we also have a sheriff department. Why do you often speak good of him? I mean, what is his relationship to the black community here in Valdosta?
Well, let me be clear about something. Police chief is not here today because I didn't invite him here today. Sheriff Prine is not here today. I didn't invite him here today. However, I'm going to be straight with everybody. Not since 2013 have we had the kind of problems that I had myself before he came here. And he met with me, he met with the NAACP, and he met with several leaders, and he's still doing that on a bi-monthly basis to talk about any issue that we want to talk about. And when he took office, he called all of his men in front of all of us, and he said to them, it's over. It's over. Everybody in this town going to be treated fairly. And if we have a problem and it's our fault, we're going to own up to it. He's done that with me. And I'm not going to lie about that. He's done that with me. I can't say that about the other police chief, and I can't say that about the sheriff.
Thank you.
Reverend Rose, one final question.
You sure this is the final one?
What direction are we going to move here in Valdosta, Lowndes County? What are we going to do now?
Well, my own view is that right now we're locked in a problem with the Valdosta City Schools about black contractors. Listen, if black folks don't have work, they're going to do whatever they have to do to survive. I'm as good as anybody, but I got a choice between starving and stealing. Floyd Rose will steal. If that's the only choice I feel that I have, and that's the kind of choice the black folks facing now. A lot of them are just faced with a problem. Now, it's true that they steal and take from their own people, and I don't like that. I don't think they need to do that. But I'm also realistic to know that if a guy is selling drugs, particularly marijuana, and he has no other way he thinks to survive, then I'm not going to blame him for that. if that's the only way he feels like he can survive. He gets arrested, goes to jail, comes out, nobody want to give him a job, so he goes back to the same man that gave him the job in the first place, the drug dealer.
Anyone else have something they want to say or comments? Bob, whether you over in Jacksonville, what do you think about the local situation here in Valdosta? You be here quite a lot.
Well, me myself, I've had dealings with the chief. He is an honorable man, and he's had stand branch, and he has stand up to his word to try to work with all the community leaders and stuff. So I never had a problem with him. I'm not going to say anything about the sheriff. I never had any personal dealings with the sheriff or issues I had to look into. So.
Come on in, Doc. That's Ashley. Paul.
How y'all?
Fine, sir, how are you?
Y'all want a little report from the hospital for us?
They wasn't that?
Y'all want a report from the hospital?
No, yeah,
Yeah,
we have
I've
it.
been there.
See the police officers.
Police officer got shot 3 times, twice in the vest, once right below the vest, abdomen wound. He's talking and gonna be fine. The perpetrator is an Asian American.
Okay, but
What
he
I
had nothing, that had nothing to do with our situation. That the police chief told me earlier today. Said that somebody was breaking into something or
It
something.
was
What happened?
supposedly the officers responded to it, breaking and entering a vehicle.
Yeah.
So I don't know, how this guy got there or what he was involved, but,
Do you
He
know
is.
whether or not he lived there?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
He's still alive, the perpetrator is. I think they're gonna lifeline him. But,
Let me say to you, like I've said to everybody else here, at no time have I or anybody that's associated with the SCLC ever decided that all white police officers were racist. Nobody said that. And nobody deserved to be killed, period. Black folk don't deserve to be killed and white people don't deserve to be killed. You have no right to take what you cannot give, which is human life. And nobody has the right to do that. And that's what I've said today, and that's what I'll say tomorrow and the day after that.
It's a difficult situation. I was shot at 3 times in my 16 years. Fortunately, I was not injured and I didn't kill anybody. But, when you get in that situation, it's a bad situation on both sides.
But most things can be resolved if it's de-escalated.
Most things, if you will walk up to somebody and treat them like you want to be treated, and put your hand on their shoulder, if they'll let you, and say, let's talk
Yeah.
about this. That's the way I always try to train my officers. It doesn't always work, but it works more than it doesn't work. But I just figured you wanted to know what was going on.
Well, I appreciate you
I
coming
went,
back to
I
us.
went, I went back and served with the chief, and there's 2 Hancocks working at these. Of course, don't quote me on the names, but 2 at the police department, father and son. This is the father. Got shot.
Okay.
Son lived right there and heard the call and got there. Said he had on a pair of, he said he slipped on a pair of shorts and got there. And said his father was right there too.
Okay,
As always, I always try to keep you abreast of everything.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all. Sorry to interrupt y'all.
No, we thank you.
It's all right, we didn't know that, and I'm glad to hear that.
I'm doing good, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Can I make a comment? From my experience with police, you have to, what I tell my niece, my nephews and stuff, I said, when the police stops you, keep your hands on that steering wheel. And we need to train our police, especially young police. Young police are very dangerous because they are young and they have a gun to give them that power in their head. So I think we have to be very, very careful with our young police, and they need to be trained a little better on how to deal with situations like that. But here in Valdosta, to me, the issue is jobs. You have people here that have jobs, but they're afraid to speak up. They're humming down on these jobs, and in Valdosta we have one of the lowest pay rate in the country for our people. $10 an hour is probably the minimum that people are making here. You can't live off that.
Right.
So, and we have people here and our politicians, and I don't have nothing against all politicians, but I'm not even sure they're going in the right direction. Even our elected officials, they don't seem to go out and look for jobs for this community. We're so far behind, and our thinking process is way behind, to my opinion.
I'm George Boston Rhines. I'm from Valdosta, Georgia, and this is the Get To Free Press. And my motto is, we report what others ignore. I came to Jacksonville because I received a call of a group of people that were afraid to be seen because of what could possibly happen to them. And I could tell you why, but I want you to listen to the real people. This is not my story. This is not your story. This is going to be their story. These people tell me that they called the news media. They met with the media. But the media didn't tell their story. But as it is recorded in the book of John 8:32, which says, and this is Jesus talking, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set and make you free. I want this to be on record for the people in Washington, D.C., President Obama, the governors of all 50 states, as well as our outlying territories. The Holy Bible. I got the Bible open to Psalm 133, which says, behold how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. For it is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessings, even life forevermore. We cannot have a good life when our government will not be fair and just to all American citizens. We serve this nation, and now the Get To Free Press is going to serve these people that called me, and I couldn't say no.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all thy ways we acknowledge you, and you will direct our path. We won't be wise in our own eyes. We will fear you, Lord, and depart from evil. In Christ Jesus' name, Lord. Take all the evil things and evil ways out of our judicial system. Take all the evil ways and evil things out of what's going on in our fair city of Jacksonville, Florida. Lord, we need you this evening, Father. We need you to be with us, lead us, and guide us. And we plead the blood of Jesus over each and every family that's located in this room, Father. We ask you to bless us, keep us, and protect us from evil. In Christ Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yes, good evening. This video is an urgent cry to President Barack Obama. We are crying as lamenting women, mothers, grandmothers, daughters, sisters, wives, aunts, uncles, cousins, whomever you may be, black, white, brown, LGBT. It crosses, the corruption crosses all boundaries. We're crying out to you, President, because we need your help in this city. We have no help, so we're crying out to you to send help to us from the north, the east, the south, and the west. Some may be wondering why we're sitting at this table covered up. It is because it has gotten to be so bad that we're not even safe in our own homes. That's why we need your help. When the powers that be feel that they can interrupt and intrude just because they want to. We need your help. Are we in fear? Yes, we are, in desperate fear. We should not be in fear, for the word tells us not to fear man, but God only. But I personally fear for my life and the life of my children and my family. So I ask you, President, you have a family, you have a wife, you have daughters, and I don't believe you as a man first would want to happen what is happening to us. We are citizens. We ask that we can live and not live in fear. That if something should happen, that we can cry for justice and then justice be commenced. We should have to fear that our children cannot walk the street without getting shot down. This is something that must stop. We can no longer sit and stand by and watch our loved ones get gunned down one by one, and then the mass incarceration. President Barack Obama, we plead to you now, sir. This is an urgent call to our president. Use your power. Use the authority that you have. Send help to us. Personally come in our city. But do something, sir, to help us. Help save our lives and the lives of our children. As I state, we beg and we plead upon you to do this on our behalf. I will now let the other two women that's seated at the table with me, they can go ahead.
We live in Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida is a very scary place for us because we are freedom fighters. And we cannot fight without being covered up. We can't fight for our families in fear of our lives. The state attorney, Angela Corey, is doing stuff to us that no state attorney should be able to do. So we're asking you, President Obama, all our state senators, any media, to come in and assist us, because not only are we, our sons and daughters, our families, our husbands are being illegally prosecuted by the state attorney's office. We need help here in Jacksonville, Florida. We need assistance. We need the Department of Justice to come in and take a look at the stuff that's going on with us. We're freedom fighters. Our First Amendment right has been violated. We should be able to speak without having to cover up. We should be able to defend our city. We should be able to take whoever is not doing right in the offices out. But we can't. We got judges against us. We got the police officers against us. We got Angela Corey against us. Rich Mentai, all of these people that's going against us, hurting our families. We're afraid to go out at night. We're afraid to put our opinions on social media. We've been blacklisted. We have police sitting out in front of our homes. Instead of taking care of crime, they're spying on us. Our phones have been tapped. We can't say anything to anyone in fear of being sent to jail. Our children has been incarcerated. Sentences has been held up. As soon as we make a public plea, one of us get arrested. Everyone that's sitting in this room have had a family member arrested since we went on our warpath to get her out of office. And I say it's a warpath because it's like fighting with the enemy. This woman was supposed to serve and protect us. The police officers are supposed to serve and protect us, but yet they are killing our sons. They're incarcerating our children. They're breaking up our homes. We don't know what to do. All we can do is pray. In 2016, I cannot believe that we're living in a slave town of Jacksonville, Florida. We have did everything we possibly could do to get the justice system here. And they act like it's just too hard to come here and take care of us. We are tax-paying citizens and we deserve the right to be able to vote. We can't even vote because Angela Corey has did a write-in and she has stagnated the Democratic vote. And she's telling us that we need to go and turn into Republicans. There are 443 people that cannot vote. 443,000 people that cannot vote. And we're just asking for justice in our city. We pay her. She don't pay us. She's paid us grief, heartache, and pain. And we're sick and tired of her. So we're asking the Justice Department to come in this corrupt city. And the harassment has to stop. We're getting phone calls. Just like it was when Martin Luther King marched. We're getting police sitting out in front of our homes. And we're sick of it. We're sick of our sons getting 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, life, 49 years for a first time offense. So we're asking you guys to come and help us in Jacksonville, Florida. We need you now. Change did come. It came from the office of Angela Corey. It came from JSO. It came from Tallahassee. We need the governor to step down as well. We need Pam Bundy to step down as well. Because Angela Corey cannot have her reign if they don't okay it. And we're asking for anybody that watched this tape to help us. Make this go viral. Send us some help. It's so sad to see us sitting here all covered up and afraid that the same thing that happened to so many, like Sandra Bland, Martin Luther King, all the other freedom fighters that have died for us to have the freedom of speech, the freedom to vote, to the freedom to have a fair trial, the freedom to be able to walk, talk, live in our home without peeping out the windows. If anyone that's watching us know what we're talking about, hear our humble cry. We're humans, and we see people fighting for animals more than they fight for us humans.
Amen.
And we need you to fight for us. Our life do matter. We're not just saying animals' life don't matter, but we matter. We're humans. And just like you get out there and protest for the animal rights, protest for our rights. We have built this country. The country was built on our backs. And in 2016, we shouldn't have to be like this. It shouldn't have to be this way. We all are lamenting mothers. We have children in prison. And we're so afraid that something would happen to our children while they're sitting up in prison. And things would happen to our household until we're just afraid. We all have been affected by Angela Corey's office in Jacksonville, Florida. We've been arrested. We've been threatened. We've been shut down when we do news conference. So we came to the gentleman, the producer of Ghetto Free Press, to help us get this video out. And we're begging you guys to make it go viral. We have to make this video go viral for Jacksonville, Florida. Thank you.
I am also a citizen of Jacksonville, Florida. I have been threatened every day of my life, seeing what has been happening to this great city in Jacksonville, Florida. We need help. President Obama, come in and help us. We need help. We cry every day because of the injustice that's going on here in Jacksonville, Florida. We see people wrongfully incarcerated every day. Every day. We see this happening to our children. We see this happening to our husbands. We see this happening to our brothers and our sisters. We see this happening every day. We need help. Someone needs to come in and help us. Help us with this problem here. We see this injustice happening every day. My heart is broken. My heart is broken because I love this bold city of Jacksonville. I love this bold city of Jacksonville. And I figured this will be my home till the day I die. But when I see this injustice happening, something needs to stop. Someone needs to come in. Angela Corey needs to get out. Angela Corey needs to resign. Matter of fact, all the ones that are wrongfully incarcerating our people need to be in chains. I can't even talk about it.
Thank you.
Help us. We need help.
Again, we are the lamenting women. This is our war cry. I have cried for years over my loved one. Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is running rogue in our city. The state attorney is rogue in our city. We go into the courtroom looking for justice, and we find no justice. The attorneys that we have to represent our loved ones does not. They've turned us into a slave market, a money market, a money pit. President, we're crying out to you, sir. My heart is very heavy. We don't know what else to do. We pray, yes. We lean and depend on prayer. The word tells us to cry loud, spare not. So we're crying out. We need the transgressors to realize that they are transgressing and to recompense for their sins. We know that God holds all power. We know this. But we're living in a world, in a city of perpetual fear. I cannot anymore be silent and live in that fear. And I'm not just talking about myself, but I'm talking about others, mothers, sisters, whoever that you are, those that cannot or will not take that stand. Someone must stand in the gap. If it has to be me, then I stand in that gap and I war cry for all the incarcerated that is wrongfully in prison. I war cry for the mothers that have to bury their sons. I war cry for the mothers that have to bury their daughters. I war cry for people everywhere, be it black, white, brown, whomever you are. I send out this war cry because this is a cry. This is a war cry going out to you, President Barack Obama. We need help in this city. You send help into Ferguson. We need you to send help into us. This is a serious matter that we're being faced with day in and day out. We should not be able to be afraid to leave our homes. We should not have to be fear and barricade our doors because we don't know when the police will show up. We should not have to live in that type of fear. But they have done this and they're doing this to us. Nowhere can we door. No door can we knock on that has not been closed. We need you as the President of the United States. We plead with you, sir, to come into our city. Do something for us. You have done so much for many. And Jacksonville have been bypassed and has been left in the shadows. When you took office, sir, your words were change has come to America. I say to you now, President Barack Obama, change, sir, may have come to the White House, but that change bypassed the city of Jacksonville and the state of Florida. Thank you, sir.
That nigga do. I think nothing gonna be said or done out here. Nigga came back to use against us. You see what I'm saying? So we don't care anybody to stand around. Whatever they want to do, we know Satan always playing snitches among us. We know that. Somebody always went back and whispered them off. That ain't gonna stop today. You know what I'm saying? But when we do what we do, and when we playing what we playing, the people that be present gonna be people that know what time it is. And people that know that there's some people among us right now that don't mind doing what needs to be done when it comes time to do what needs to be done.
took her away and now they have to pay. And to take them away from my daughter. You took her away and now they have to pay. I will not be able to sleep until I get justice. I need justice. I need peace. I want justice. I want peace. I want justice. And even after justice, this will never go away.
Listen.
They held me in a room. No water, no food. They took my phone, no numbers. I don't have my phone. They took over my Facebook. They took nothing. They took my groceries. They took everything that I had at the time.
In that car.
And then they seized the car for evidence. They seized my phone for evidence. They seized my Facebook. Everybody who shared that video, they don't want you guys to be a part of this. They don't want us to stand up for one another. They don't want us to support each other. They want everybody to stand up for them. They're going to tamper with evidence. They're going to tamper with witnesses. They're going to do whatever they have to do to cover their but. And this is not right. It's not acceptable.
Did they have a police chaplain come and comfort you?
No one comforted me. No one comforted me. All they said that this is not their department. The BCA came hours after they removed me from the scene.
Diamond, we're standing outside of the governor's mansion. What do you want him to do? What do you want Governor Mark Dayton to do?
I want Governor Mark Dayton to allow these people who are licensed to carry to have more rights. If we are able to carry, license to carry, then a police officer should not be able to gun a man down for no reason. Also, I would like for him to get more involved in these police officers. They have mental problems. They have battles that they're fighting. So when they're coming out here to serve and protect, they're not serving and protecting us because they're damaged from all the past and previous people they done killed.
Say it again.
So when they come forth to preserve and protect, not only did they hurt us, they hurt our community. And it's not okay. It's not acceptable. No one comforted me. No one was there for me. They all was for each other. Every single department.
Can you describe how the whole thing developed?
The whole thing developed when we were riding west down Larpenter, southbound, thank you very much, and we got pulled over what allegedly was supposed to be a broken tail light. When he let us know that we had a broken tail light, he asked us, were we aware of it? We said no. As we said no, he tells us to put our hands in the air. We have our hands in the air. At the time as our hands in the air, he asked for license and registration. My boyfriend carries all his information in a thick wallet in his right side back pocket. As he's reaching for his back pocket wallet, he lets the officer know, "Officer, I have a firearm on me." I begin to yell, but he's licensed to carry. After that, he began to take off shots. But, don't move. But how can you not move when you're asking for license and registration? It's either you want my hands in the air or you want my information and my identification. It's either you want me to freeze when I'm not being arrested or you want me to reach for my identification and let you know who I am. I can't do two things at one time.
Listen,
okay? I'm Trayvon Martin, you Trayvon Martin, we're Sandra Dean, you're Sandra Dean. We are not, we are the people. We are the people. And we can't keep allowing these people who are supposed to serve and protect us take us away from our family, take us away from our loved ones, take us away from these children. He was a good man. He worked at the Selby Elementary School, Obama. He works there. Some of you kids, some of y'all kids might know him. His name was Phil. J.J. Hill is where he works. And all of you guys, he was never a bad man. He never did anything to hurt anyone. He was the quietest, most laid-back person you would ever meet. He was loving. So even for the police to take him away, nothing within his body language said intimidation. Nothing within his body said, shoot me. Nothing within his body language said, kill me, I want to be dead. He did not do nothing but what the police officer asked of us, which was to put your hands in the air and get your license and registration.
And tell me about that officer. What was his race?
He was Asian. He was short. He was black. No glasses, about 5'6" and a half, about 156.
Was his name
70.
Officer Vane?
I'm not sure. I tried to get his badge number. I tried to get all of his information. They would not release any information to me, badge number. They said that when the investigation was final or started, that would let me know what was going on. All they gave me was a business card.
Were they trying to help him by any
The police officer soothed him. They pulled him over to the side and they began to calm him down and tell him that it was okay and he would get through this.
What about first
they put me in the backseat of the police car.
What about first aid What about
They
first
left him sitting in the car after they shot him.
No one checked his
Nobody
pulse?
checked his pulse, nothing. The police officer that was on my side walked away to call for backup, and the police officer that shot him was still standing there with,
No one checked his pulse?
his gun still drawn after he was shot.
Where were you coming from and where were you going?
We were coming from the grocery store, from putting food in my house for myself and my daughter. We had all been at work all day. He had just left from the shop for getting his hair done for his birthday. We had left from dropping my sister off, who lives by the state fairgrounds. And as we're dropping her off from getting groceries from her, the officer pulls us over to talk about a broken headlight that was not broken.
And one of the first things they teach you in the permit to carry class, I've been through that, is when an officer pulls you over, let him know that you have a permit to carry and that you have a weapon.
And who let you know that they have a weapon?
And the instructor told us that several times. They told us that.
And he didn't give us the opportunity before he let off rounds. He asked us for license and registration. As he was reaching for his license and registration, he told him he had a barrel and began to shoot. He killed him for no reason.
That's what it is. That's murder.
In all that pain, how were you able to figure out you should put this on Facebook?
Because I wanted everyone in the world to know that no matter how much the police tamper with evidence, how much they stick together, no matter how they manipulate, put it on Facebook and go viral so that the people could see. I wanted the people to determine who was right and who was wrong. I want the people to be the testimonies here. All of us saw with our eyes. Only thing you guys didn't see is when he shot. And if I would have moved while that gun was out, he would have shot me. So I chose to allow the video to go live 10 seconds before my phone died because I wanted everybody in the world to see what the police do and how they roll, and it's not right. It's not acceptable. I didn't do it for pity. I didn't do it for fame. I did it so that the world knows that these police are not here to protect and serve us. They are here to assassinate us. They are here to kill us because we are black. We don't support each other enough, so they feel like they can take us off. And it's not okay. A good man, a 35-year-old man, worked for St. Paul Public School, never been fingerprinted, never been handcuffed. He has been taken away from his community. This is detrimental to everybody that's here today, not only me, myself, and my daughter, but everyone in the world. I just ask that everyone continue to pray. I ask that we all get justice. Anybody who's ever lost a loved one or someone close, dear to them, I feel for you guys. And I'm praying for each and every face I see out here tonight because no one deserves this. I have not been able to sleep. I have not been able to eat. I have not been able to work. I have not been able to do anything besides hold my daughter, tell her I thank her how much of a super hero she is. Because she is an angel. She knew that he was gone before I knew. And she said, Mom, the police are bad guys. They killed him and he's never coming back. He's never coming back. And the fact that my 4-year-old had to tell me that he was gone, as I'm telling her, never speak negativity until our earth. We only speak positive things. She knew that he was gone and he wasn't coming back. They didn't let me know he was dead until 3 o'clock this morning. I didn't arrive home until about 5 this morning.
Not right.
Where I asked the BCA, is he dead, more than one time. And all they could tell me is at this point they don't know. But they knew he was dead when they took him from the scene. They told me he was at Regis Hospital. When I got to Regis Hospital, he was not there. He was at HCMC. They sent me in the whole wrong direction, so I never got to see him before they did whatever they did. I never got to say my last words to that man because they told me he was at a location that he was not at. Why did they do that? Who knows who tracks they're trying to cover and why the police department is trying to cover it, but it's not acceptable, it's not okay, and it will not be tolerated.
Why would he go to HCMC when there's hospitals closer? If they take him to HCMC, that's a longer ride there.
And to show you
He could have lived.
They didn't even come comfort her.
They could have took him right to Regions or United.
Killed her boyfriend, but didn't offer comfort for her and her 4-year-old daughter.
I want them. Not only do I want justice and want peace, but I feel like they deserve him the best funeral that they can throw for him. I feel like doves need to be released. I feel like there needs to be a pastor here praying over these people, nurturing these people. Minnesota got money. Minnesota has money to build stadiums we don't need. They don't have money to help these people. They need to give back to these communities. They need to start funding these funerals to the people that they are taking off this earth for no apparent reason. If we can come together to build a stadium, we can come together to make a wonderful funeral so that we can embrace this beautiful life that is no longer with us anymore.
Here's Pastor Ian.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Jesus, please make her watch over her child, Lord, to make sure that she can be safe, Lord. I know that it's going to hurt her every day, Lord, but please let this man help him stay in her heart, Lord, and give her the strength to pray over him every day, Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus, please look after the police officers, Lord, to forgive them for their sins. They're not right. So make sure that they get placed where they're supposed to be, Lord Jesus, because she lost a life that was good to her, Lord. In your name I pray, amen. Amen. It's not okay, baby, but you're going to get through it. God got you. We got you.
He's at home with his family, probably telling his wife, I killed another nigger today.
Listen.
They at home telling them, I killed my wife, my kids, I killed a nigger today.
Diamond, how do you pay for everybody? Still out here on Summit Avenue. Hey, good morning, everybody. Still out here on Summit Avenue. Protesters are out here. I just want to show you what's going on. It is a very peaceful protest. Let's give you guys a look.
He was one of the best that we got. He was one of the best that we got. Working in the cafeteria. I don't know what kind of degree he had. Don't matter. Don't matter.
He's relevant.
He wasn't an executive, but he was a contributing member of our community.
That's right.
But we strive to have our brothers involved in their children's life.
That's right.
Make meaningful contributions to God, to their family, to their community. He was stopped for a traffic stop, not a felony stop. That wasn't a felony stop. That was a traffic stop. And the pictures that I saw, both taillights was working. This system needs to change. And the transformation that Reverend Hand talked about. We're standing out here in front of the governor's mansion. This has been one of the most egregious atrocities perpetrated by the state in a long time, and we've had many. Yes, we have. The governor, the leader of this state, needs to come out and provide some leadership. That's right. He needs to come out and assure us. He needs to come out and assure the citizens, not just the black citizens, but all citizens, that he's in charge and something's going to happen that's going to give us the assurance that the head of this state is looking out for our best interests. That's right. That's right. You know, the governor has spoke out about a lot of things. Listen. Yeah. He didn't have any problem talking about the occupation of the 4th precinct. Telling folks to remain calm. But what is he doing to contribute to helping to keep us calm? Because right now, I'm an angry old black man. Listen. I'm mad as hell. This is just totally unacceptable. And as we stand here today, G.B.R's clerk case has not been resolved. That's right. That's right. At the very least, and I would hope our black leadership don't get on the public airways talking about where are we at when there's black on black crime. Listen, we're out here for all crimes. And at the very least, before we even deal with this, they need to fire those 2 officers and send a message. Expeditiously! Listen! Expeditiously! They need to fire expeditiously! And this is going to continue until there's some moral leadership. Some leadership with courage. I don't understand how the police federations throughout this state can have so much control over the politics and the moral leadership of this state. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. And I think right now, Minnesota is at a critical crossroads. Yeah. We got the Super Bowl coming. Listen. The NCAA Final Four. There's a lot of things going on. Every day you pick up a paper, you hear about how Minnesota is ranked in the top 1, 2, 3, or 4. Listen. The parks are the best. The quality of life is the best. The environment is the best. It's the best place for people to move. We're gonna change all that. Listen. Come on. We're gonna change all that. And it needs to be changed because the change is already taking place, but people they're ignoring it. Come on. When they look at the quality of life, they don't include us. No. They're looking at the quality of life for white folks. Yeah. Listen.
Comfortable. The police took 4 or 5 shots at him for no reason. Listen. They took his life for no reason. They did this to my daughter and they did it to me, and I want justice and I want peace. You didn't say
Yes, right. I'm so sorry for your loss.
The police did this to me. They took an innocent man away from us. I'm sorry. He didn't do anything. He did exactly what the police asked. I'm sorry.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm sure you by now have seen the video that has gone viral of that 32-year-old St. Paul man who was shot and killed by a St. Anthony police officer. We are now in front of the governor's mansion. It is after 5:30 a.m. and these protesters remain out here. I want to show you now what the scene looks like. You can see there's about a dozen, I want to say, out here, and they are protesters. You can see they have a sign outside the governor's mansion. It's actually one that reads "Justice for the Land," another one that says "Stop Police Brutality." Particularly, these are the protesters. They are sitting right now here at Summit Avenue. They are but obviously this is something that they're living alongside Avenue this morning. It is just at this point, if these folks want to be here for the remainder of the day, they want to camp out here, and if that will be allowed, Kima Levy-Pounds, she is the president of the NAACP chapter here in the Twin Cities. She is out here, but clearly a lot of folks that were part of the July 4th protest, they're out here as well. Glenn Shady with us right now.
No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. 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 No justice, no peace.
Media here.
Police. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the 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 police. No justice, no peace. Prosecute justice.
All right, guys, I gotta start getting ready for our next o'clock hit, but we'll be back all morning long with the latest on these protests and where the investigation is going to be headed to. Hey, good morning, guys. I want to show you what's going on right now. This is the governor's mansion. You can see protesters are out here. It is peaceful. I'm so sorry about the dark video. I'm going to try to get closer. You can see people are chatting. What's going on right now?
Watch the mirror.
If we don't get it, shut it down. If Philadelphia don't get it, shut it down. If Philadelphia don't get it, shut it down. If Philadelphia don't get it, shut it down. If tomorrow 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 don't get it, shut it down. No. We're not going to shut it down. We're tired of shutting it down. We don't burn. Okay.
Y'all ain't gonna burn nothing. Y'all selling wood. Y'all ain't St. Louis side. Y'all got their heart like that. They ain't got their heart like that. They ain't got their heart like that. Be all right. Hey, forget all the no justice, no peace, man. Y'all talking about burning something down, burn it down.
Repeat after me so everybody can hear it. They are trying to tear us down. They are trying to tear us down. They are trying to kill our spirit. They are trying to kill our spirit. They feel something powerful. They feel something powerful. So this is spiritual warfare. This is calculated. This is calculated. White supremacy. Trying to take our energy that we're changing. To free ourselves. To free our brothers and sisters. To free our trans and queer people. To free our indigenous people. To free our black people. To free our black people. To free our brown people. To free our brown people. And they can't have it. So this is them trying to tear our spirits. This is because they know we won't win. 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 That we will win. That we will win. What we have to do is keep our vibrations high. To keep our spirits
ciphers, but we build and educate versus just beating people in the head with our personal doctrine. Yeah, you don't want that. You know why? Because you want to be false. What the hell you talking about? You want somebody that's drawn into your light. And the only reason they wouldn't come is because your light's too bright. Because over ain't nothing but truth. It's all truth over there. It's no, you know, there's no secret hidden agenda other than getting our people right in Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
What's your name, brother?
John Walton.
What do you want to share with us today?
I want to share with you today that 3 years ago, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office arrested me for a charge of open carry of a firearm. They're not honoring these licenses in Duval County, especially if you're an African American. That is actually a valid license and it doesn't expire to 2018. An officer said he saw my firearm and then he turned around and he grabbed me from behind and didn't even address as an officer. Been going through this for 3 years. I'm out of an appeal. They found me guilty and wanted to put me in jail for 60 days. There's a case going on by the case with Dale Normandy. My lawyer is every Friday, but my point...
Hold on just a minute. What's your name?
John Walton.
Okay, go ahead.
The point I'm making is the Duval County and the Sheriff's Office is not honoring concealed permit, weapon permits because of the fact that they don't want African Americans to have license in the beginning. But the point I want to make is that these licenses, when you go, you got to have a photograph, you got to have a training of proof of having the license, and then you got to be investigated by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and you also have to have a federal investigation before you can even get these licenses, and they're approved by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. My point of position is, I think that it was because of the fact that they want to take every black man's license and they want to take every black man's disarmament away from them when they feel that they have a firearm. And I'm going to use firearm because that's the perfect word. My whole point is, I think that the legislature and the federal judges and the state and federal level needs to go ahead and let open carry pass and quit allowing all these unconstitutional ideas that they're coming up with to give law enforcement tools. Nobody wants to shoot the police. Nobody wants to harm the police. What I want is rights. I want constitutional rights for the African Americans, and I want constitutional rights for myself. My whole position is my whole position of this interview today is that I am a legal person with a legal firearm license. All licensed due to the fact of the state of Florida, and they're not being honored by our sheriff and our sheriff association. If you notice and if you look at the text and if you look at the stories, open carry has been argued since January 1st and also last year, 2015. And the legislators left and went home and didn't make a decision on giving one person a decision on the floor. It passed 6 votes. This would be the 46th state if it passed of open carry. They just ruled in California that the concealed carrying a firearm is constitution under the state. The state has recommendation and has asset, means they have ruling over your life about having a concealed weapon on you. My whole position is that they need to go ahead and pass open carry. If they pass open carry for the state of Florida, then we won't be going through all this red tape and these red channels. This is a legal concealed weapon permit right here. And that's what I want everybody to know. There's no criminality, there's no dishonor, there's honor, and there is right. And I am not being done in due process. And I think we need to go ahead and we need to figure out a way to all come together and we work this thing out, because this state, it's time for this state to wake up and understand we're not no longer taking the harassment, we're not no longer taking the undue process, and we're not no longer taking illegalities of their power of their pen and power of their white documents to give authority over comes to a person being legally carry a firearm. And that's what this is about right now, legally carrying a firearm. I was arrested for having this. And I want to also allow this to be on film to know that the firearm that was taken, here's the funny part. There were 2 firearms taken. There was a holster taken. There was a duplicate of these licenses taken. And there was a shirt taken. One firearm was given back, and the new firearm that was purchased in December of 15, December 2012. The firearm was purchased legally. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office still have that firearm. And I'm sure the officer that arrested me took that firearm to his house and checked it out and made it his personal property because he found out that firearm had never been fired. A 40 cal, just like they got. And my whole position, there was a firearm, a 9mm handgun was given back 2 days later by the Sheriff John H. Rutherford in 2012. They give you a firearm back and they keep one. What that tells you about my situation. Now they got a firearm that they won't account for because they've gotten it, and I'm out on an appeal. And they're threatening to put me in jail for 60 days at any day for being legal. I just thought I would put that out there. And I appreciate the interview. I appreciate you all getting an understanding of this. This is not somebody that gets out there and do something illegal. This is somebody that's legal and a law-abiding citizen and has a license for every idea that the state of Florida have when they give you something to have permission to use. This is a good start. This is a good example of how the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office get young men on the street and take their license. Now this is a duplicate. This is a duplicate license. Duplicate meaning they took the first one and the state gave me another one. So there's a jurisdiction between the state, there's a jurisdiction between the county courts, and there's a jurisdiction between the city sheriff. There needs to be games stop being made, and we need to come together and come to grips and understand I ain't trying to cause no trouble. All I want to do is get justice and due process. That's what we need, that's what I want, and that's what I'm going to demand. Because it's time for change. It's time for change. And the reason it's time for change, nobody won't step up and nobody won't wake up. So now it's time for me to give out the real deal. So when you reality look at what's really, really going on in the city of Jacksonville, yes, it will be changes. I guarantee you that. It will be changes. I promise you it's going to be changes.
Okay, now, my question to you. You have a question? My question to you is this. Go back to when it first happened. Explain what happened.
I was coming out of a convenience store, which was the Family Dollars.
What date?
It was going to be on February the 9th, 2013.
Okay.
As I was coming out of the store, I had my shirt over my firearm, so therefore I was legal to carry with a concealed weapons permit. I was in my vehicle. As I was in my vehicle, I was getting ready to leave.
How much you pay for that permit?
I paid $111 for the permit. And I also paid $69 for the training. You have to be certified in order to have a firearm to even be processed and be passed to get a permit.
So you met all the qualifications?
Made all the qualifications.
There's nothing that you didn't do?
There's nothing that I didn't do. Everything is legal. There's no type of equality. It's about change.
Okay, continue on that.
Well, what it is you got favored judges in the county courts with Angela Court.
Wait. I want you to stay with that process. And you went to the convenience store. Just
went to the convenience store.
Make it clear for the people.
Went to the convenience store. Got out of the. I paid about $80 for some groceries. I was getting ready to go fishing. There is a law stating you can open carry if you're going fishing with a fishing rod. My whole position, I was getting ready to go fishing, but I went to the store to get some groceries and some things to go fishing with. My whole position is that I was getting ready to get in the vehicle. As I was getting ready to get in the vehicle, an officer grabbed me from behind.
An officer from the city, the county, the who?
Officer from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Did not ID himself as a Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. All he did was grab me from behind, didn't say a word, put me in the headlock, blindfolded me, took my firearm off of me, and the games began after that. That is the truth. And when he realized that I had a gun permit, he said he didn't care. It didn't matter to him.
That was a black police officer?
It was a white police officer. It was a Caucasian. It was a Caucasian police officer. And that Caucasian police officer, here's the funny thing. When you got 6 officers and 1 officer asks you, can you search the vehicle? And you search the vehicle for whatever reason you want to, I gave you permission and I didn't have to do that because that was under a constitutional right. I had nothing to hide. But you took the vehicle and got in it. You had 6 other officers open up the door, check the vehicle out completely. Didn't find anything in the vehicle illegal. Turned around, all the officers said, I didn't see a thing. I didn't see a thing. And they say, I'm not gonna do anything because I don't see nothing. And because the officer felt like he grabbed me in the wrong way and took my firearms, he said he was gonna arrest me. But I will say this to make it a funny story. The officer did, one officer did come back and ask me, what do I think we should do about this? And I told him, treat me like a dog. Treat me like a dog, treat me like a dog, but make sure my car gets home. Now the reason I'm telling this story is because the tow truck pulled up to steal the vehicle. The tow truck pulled up to steal the vehicle, and when I explained to them who I was, and when I explained to them what I knew, and the reason for having these licenses, the tow truck left and the vehicle was placed under custody with my family. The cell phone came on. Usually they take your cell phone, and this is good education, people. They take your cell phone, they put it on their computer, they use a USB cord, they suck all of your cybercrime base out of their phones. Anything with cyber on it. Anything based, pictures, video, anything. They suck it out of your phone and put it in their personal computer, and they go through your data. And they try to find cyber crimes. And when they can't find nothing, they put a friendly app in your phone that has a GPS on it, looks like a game. And it's following you all over the world. I just want you to know that. How do you know that? I know I didn't put it on my phone. I know when I looked at it, it's called, I'm gonna tell you what it's called. It's called the Life is Crime. That's what the game is called. And what the game does is, the game asks you what kind of gun you carry, what kind of gun you want to have, and it puts you in there with the gun. It asks you what kind of crime you want to commit. It asks you where do you want to commit the crime at. And if you press the middle button at the bottom, it's a GPS stand for letting you know exactly where you're at, and they're knowing exactly where you're at with your cell phone on. They put that friendly app in there. Very good education, I know it. It's very, very good education. And I'm glad that I'm able to share this information with you, to be honest with you, to show you how honest and graceful that I am. I haven't had any more problems with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office because the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office realized that there's a cork on the bottle that has been sealed, and they're not going to be to open it and pull no information out because I got it all in a nutshell. I'm not scared, I don't fear, I don't worry because I know I'm in the right, and when you're in the right, you don't have nothing to worry about. When you're in the wrong, you got something to worry about. For all the fighting that I did, relentlessly, you look at the legislature, they've been fighting for open carry all year, and they still haven't come up with a decision. They haven't come up with a decision.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
How do you feel about them taking your license and letting George Zimmerman, a murderer, walk around in the state of Florida with his license, and he can carry he has one of those licenses. I looked it up, and you can look it up as well.
Well, I can answer that question for you. I'm an African American. I am out of an appeal. It's called Heller and McDonald. Let's go back to 1936. I'm out on an appeal of a 1932-36 case where Heller and McDonald, white people allowed to carry firearms and black people, black slaves being in slave camps. That's what this is all about. And Janet Reno stopped open carry in 1987. From the understanding through the legislature, she stopped it. And it's now trying to be probated, and it's trying to be arguably made that if you have a permit, you shouldn't have issues about how you carry the firearm. Because if your shirt goes up accidentally and not purposely, the sheriff department feels like, well, they seen it up, they want to make a big deal about it. If the officer saw my firearm, all he had to do was say, sir, you know that's against the law. Just put your shirt down and it wouldn't have been nothing. But they wanted to make something of it. Let me give you a good idea what I'm talking about. They took me off the scene that they arrested me on, and they put me in Durkeeville, and a black, long urban community that they have a little stop station in, but they didn't take me to the stop station. They took me to like in the suburb area where the apartments sit. And it was about 10 to 11 police cars all backed up, wasting taxpayers' money, took my shirt off. I didn't even have a shirt. I didn't get a shirt back when I got out of jail. But this is what I want to make a point to be made. When I was out there in that police car relentlessly, not doing anything wrong, but handcuffed for having a firearm legally, there were one question that the police officer asked his other police witness. He said, I need you to do me a favor. And the other officer said, what is that? I need you to count these for me. Do you realize this man wasted taxpayers' money and took 100 bullets, a cartridge of ammunition ammo that was in a box that goes to one of my firearms? He counted all of those and didn't miss a beat, counting bullets like he's counting 99 cents and some change. And when I got out of jail, he didn't know I was smart enough to go get the record that I was arrested for. And I looked at the time from when they arrested me, from the time that they closed the case. And I just want you to know, I was charged with one misdemeanor, a itty-bitty misdemeanor, open carry, a 790.053. Look it up under the state of Florida statutes. It really has nothing but a fine. It's a $300 fine. It's a fine, and it should have been an NTA, which is a notice to appear in court. But they made a big deal with my name on it and tried to make me look like the villain. Well, I say to this, I am retired from the Jacksonville Sheriff Department. I am retired from the Duval Clerk of the Circuit Court. Chief Judge Moran, Angela Corey, you name it. I am a Republican. I am one of them, and that's why they're not able to do what they want to do with me. I just thought I would give you that idea. I changed my party to Republican for one reason. They said if you can't beat them, you join them. Ever since I changed my party to Republican, I haven't had any more problems. Matter of fact, I get handshakes and hugs now from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Angela Corey, the state attorney that's handling these ambiguous, unjustly moments of dealing with cases, she needs to leave away from the Duval County precinct because she's nothing but a troublemaker. She's nothing but a person of interest. She do things illegal. Why she's not being investigated? She do things illegal, and it's proof she do things illegal. They're legally right now taking the vote of a Democrat where they can't even vote, and you got to change your party to a Republican in order to vote against her. That is unheard of. And you mean to tell me civil rights movement, Isaiah Rumley, NAACP, and all of your other agenda leaders that supposedly be big leaders of the city of Jacksonville, I call them jokers. And the reason I call them jokers, because they don't do nothing for the black community but suck all of the financial independence and all the financial obligations away from the black communities. And then they want to stand up with all the leaders and make it look like they want to take all the credit when they see movement making it happen, coming to just. I want justice. It's time for justice. And I'm telling you, we're going to get justice. I learned in life, if you don't fight, you won't know. If you fight, you will get results every time. Ever since I've been fighting, I haven't had any more problems with none of these leaders. I know every last one of these leaders in the city of Jacksonville. I never really said anything. I never really put a voice out. But I think it's time now that I stand up. But not only that, I have a right. I think it's time for me to stand up for the people that's out here in the community and let the community know we need to quit sitting down and waiting on a handout. We need to stand up. We need to stand up, and we need to make a move, and we need to show these people if we're not making trouble if we're living peacefully, we're not gonna be harassed. We're not gonna be pulled over. We're not gonna be harassed by our vehicles because of what kind of vehicles we drive, the rims we wear. I was told one time by the NAACP president, leave your cars at the car show. That's all I can tell you. Well, Isaiah Rumlin, let me tell you something. It's time for you to go, buddy. Every NAACP president, all the way from, I can remember from 1980 on now, you're corrupted. You got all these big buildings and these big businesses, and you're not doing anything but the community, but keeping everything under a hush rug. And I'm not hushing it up no more. I'm at the age now, I'm not gonna take it anymore. I'm done with taking it. You can take it how you wanna take it. You can call it a threat. I'm calling it a promise. I know the right people to connect to. I know the right people to talk to. Look at what I'm saying. I have gotten results. So I know what works and I know what really works. It's time for me to let the people know, you need to stand up for your rights. I've stood up for mine. Now I'm standing up for you. I'm giving you information, real good information, to help you resolve your issues when it comes to poverty, when it comes to being in the community and having issues and can't get them resolved. I can teach you how to resolve. I can teach you. I can teach you how to resolve. I'm glad that I was able to share this story with you all, and I'm glad that I was able to give you an idea of what's really going on in this story. And everything I say, I can back it up. It's a true thing. And the good news is, I got documents to prove it. That's what they're scared of. They don't want me allowing people to see the documents that I have against them. But you're gonna take my documents and try to use them against me. It's no way you can. You can go all the way to the Supreme Court. You can go all out in the United States, internationally, England, anywhere you want to go. I got documents to prove my innocence.
Okay, now, Mr. Walton?
Yes, sir.
My question to you is, with the story that you just told to Get to Free Press.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever went to a TV station or any other news media outlet to tell your story like this?
Yes, I have. In 1992, I sued the city of Jacksonville, got an undisclosed amount of money, and that's where the 13 corrupted felonies began. The only thing that I can give you, there was a gentleman by the name of Winston Dean on Channel 12 on your side. He took the story, he was appalled at what he found out. But because Jim McMillan and Ed Austin was married back then in the early 90s, I can give you an idea of what really, really happened. They took my record, they throwed it up in the media and made me look like the villain. But if you make me look like the villain and you make me look like the bad person, who's the bad person now? I was a young man at a young age. I'm an older man at an older age. I'm more mature now. I'm more alert. I'm more guiding when it comes to understanding how to deal with situations. I ain't taking it no more. I can tell you that Winston Dean, he helped me. He did the best he could for me. What the tools he had, the permission he's got to take my story. I was the one that stopped the profile in Jacksonville, Florida in 1990. And what I did was I took a truck that was, I didn't pay but $400 for it, put about $5,000 in it, and made it look like the prettiest truck in Jacksonville, Florida, and I got stopped all over Jacksonville. But here's my whole point to you. They gave Winston Dean, his name was Thaddeus, that's his real name. Winston Dean, through Channel 12, WTLV, what they did was, they pulled him over on the road and gave him a DUI and ran him out of the county.
The reason I ask you that is because I know that the law enforcement in Lowndes County got me on a criminal trespass for over 3 years, and I violated no law. And won't nobody in Valdosta, Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, or in the United States of America will remove me from that illegal, bogus, disgraceful criminal trespass. And this is why I got in this picture. I want you all to know, he is like myself. And as long as black folk refuse to stand up, even if it costs us our life, our children will pay a price for that. So my beautiful brother, all I can say to you, You could be lying to me, because I really don't know. But I tell you one thing, I know what I do know, that my criminal trespass was unjustified, unconstitutional, and a disgrace under our form of government. And because of that they did to me, if they did it to me, they'll do it to you. You follow me?
Before you allow yourself to finish that story,
Yes,
let
sir.
me give you an analysis that I tell all people.
Yes, sir.
I've been arrested in Duval County 59 times.
No. How many?
59 times. In 1988, I started getting put in 1989, I started getting put in jail. For breach of peace and resist without violence, you don't even get that kind of charge no more. You get the resist without or with violence. They don't give breach of peace no more. I've been arrested 59 times in this county, Duval County. I've been pulled over 40 times in Duval County and got a license. And got 13 corrupted felonies stealing my vehicles. Every time they arrest me with a firearm being concealed, and every judge under the felony counts drop the cases, and they don't even go before the circuit because they know they can't fight them. It's unconstitutional for a concealed weapon and you're legal to carry it. And the officer says in what manner that you carry it. I've never been convicted of it. Never been convicted of it. And then when they don't want you to sue, they give you some simple formality of they're giving you so many charges. They take the gun charge, see the misdemeanor, and make you take that charge and threaten you with the felony charge. It's a game. The game is over with me. I can tell you this. I'm not convicted of nothing. Oh, by the way, I got something very, very, very peculiar for you to get to understand. I have a voter registration card. I am a registered Republican. And I also have a jury duty check that I got from Duval County, Florida. I got a jury duty check that I got where you could say that I served my little date and got a check. And Duval County is postal to. I got a check from Duval County. Duval County, I have a check. Never cashed it. I never will. I'll keep it as a plaque. Just to show this county, you don't do what you think you want to do. You don't do it how you want to do it and think that it's going to go away. No. I got too many situations counted against the sheriff department. I got 30 allegations against the sheriff department. They don't want none of me. You might as well say I should have been a sheriff officer because all my life I've been a security officer. So you can't have a felony and be a security officer. But I've been in jail with my uniform. I know what it's like to be disingenuous, disenfranchised, and I know what it's like to be in a position when you're innocent. So, you know, it's a sad story, but it's a good story because this is something that I can say a testimony. I'm all right. I'm good. I just hope that this be a lesson for the people that look and listen to this story because this is a true story. Take it public record. My name is John Alexander Walton III. Check me out. I want you to. Because when God got it, can't no man on this earth take what God put on this earth.
If someone wanted to contact you, what do you have that people could contact you?
You can contact me at JB as in JBNs 50050.jw at gmail.com. And you can call me at 904-510-9391. If you want to know what I do for a living, I'm a mechanic. I'm a mass certified mechanic. Certified. And I fix Mercedes, BMWs, and I'm all over the radio in Jacksonville.
Something you said you retired?
I'm retired from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and the county court, meaning that I'm not coming and going back down there for anything. Any judge, any lawyer, any presence of any type of official, council member, it doesn't matter. They don't have no jurisdiction over me. I have taken my life and I have given it to myself. I have ownership of myself. I did what you call a reversionary. I went to Vital Statistics and got a live birth certificate. I'll teach you that one day. It's called the straw man.
I think I know what you mean, but
I did it.
I think I know,
and it really works.
I think I know what you mean. I have watched this guy on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
And I've seen him. The judges can't deal with him.
Can't touch it.
Yeah, and it's legal.
It's very legal.
Yeah, my beautiful brother, I want to thank you for sharing this story. I got some more people over at another location want to tell their story.
Yes, sir.
And God knows we want to hear it. to say once again, for the people in Duval County, the state of Florida, Georgia, and around the nation. Let me say this, CNN, ABC, Nightline, and the rest of you. I'm asking some of you all to come over and interview me. I need you to ask me why I was in the courtroom. And when I got ready to go back in, they told me that this judge said that nobody can go in except those with the pass. Well, they passed me in, but they wouldn't pass me back in. Greetings. This is the Ghetto Free Press, and this is today's copy of the Wilkinson County Post. And I just want to briefly say to the people of Gordon, read what's in this paper concerning the Ghetto Free Press. This is an open invitation to all news media outlets in the Middle District of Georgia, including the Wilkinson County Post. I have never, on any video on YouTube, tried to say that this is a racial case. Let me repeat. To the Wilkinson County Post editor, this is what you wrote, but this is not what I have published. So on the basis of truth as recorded in St. John 8:32, and ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free. Permit me to say this to the Wilkinson County Post. Here's what I have said on my over 4,000 videos and 600,000 views from the people in America and across the nation. I have said that there is a pattern and practice that the new elected black mayors in the state of Georgia, starting with Quitman, Georgia, Meigs, Georgia, Davisboro, Georgia, Warrington, Georgia, Dawson, Georgia, Lumpkins, Georgia, Gordon, Georgia, and many other towns and cities that I have been called to. Editor of the Wilkinson County Post, and I have shown to you and the governor and the Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, and to Georgia Attorney General Sam Olens, and to Eric Holder of the Department of Justice, that something is seriously wrong along the lines of how apparently, based on what I have recorded, and to get this. In fact, I'm gonna start this video off with a local citizen here. We're gonna start this off with a local citizen. And what do you have to say? Cause it seems like you're looking at the newspaper. What do you want to say today?
Julie Beatty and Candace Morrow, they're in violation of this paper. They have in here Mary Lou's sister issued a disorderly conduct warning after trying to intimidate the newspaper editor. And this was last week. I was at no time issued a warning. Candy Mars, I asked her not to take my picture. She was very rude. She called me a bitch, and she called me a criminal. And I can attest to that by two people that she harassed me, her and Judy Bailey. But this is not true. This is a lie.
You saying that's a lie?
The judge, the officer that took our statement.
Now, let us focus on what the Wilkinson County Post posted here. Now they are coming, trying to attack NAN chapter president Sarah Hunt, as you can see in this article here, saying Macon president tried to bully and intimidate City Hall employees early in the week about an open records request filed by the Ghetto Free Press George Boston Rines. Of course, that's me. And since they have chose to enter me into the picture at this level, I want to say that the Ghetto Free Press has never, on any of my 4,000 videos, focused on the racial motivation of anything. But what I have done is presented the facts, as I always do. So let's stay focused on this and other things that they are going to do, because they know, like I know, that something is up. Here's another picture of the mayor's sister. You can see they keep putting her picture in the paper. They just keep doing it. And there's nothing wrong with that. After all, they own the paper. But I want people of average intelligence to understand what's going on. Just because they own papers and television stations, they think that they can bamboozle the rest of us. But thank God for the social media. This paper here is dated July the 24th. And not only there, let's go back a little further. The front page cover, there she is again. And a picture of the mayor that has absolutely nothing to do with the article. And this lady here, they portray her as being, I guess, angry. Angry. And yet, anybody of average intelligence can see that this paper is so one-sided that we don't understand why the mountain haven't tumbled over yet. It is indeed a shame in 2014. Once again, we just reporting the facts. You can call it racial motivated, anything you want to. But as Jesus said, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set and make you free. Isn't that something? Look at her, as if though she's angry. Angry. Wake up, people. Don't fall for this. Just don't. Once again, another picture of the mayor's sister. Look at her. This paper is dated July 17th. I'm beginning to question if that picture don't sell papers for them. The Ghetto Free Press. Notice I'm not talking about the race issue. I'm just putting the truth. I didn't put that in their paper.
Nobody ever wanna see anybody do good. Nobody. I was taught when I was 12 to treat everybody right. But I found out the teaching was wrong, and I've been knowing ever since I've been grown. Nobody wanna see anybody do good. Nobody they want to see you in a pushmobile. Nobody they don't want to see you in a Cadillac. Nobody ever wanna see anybody do good. Nobody.
This is the Ghetto Free Press, and this is today's copy of the Wilkinson County Post. And I just want to briefly say to the people of Gordon, read what's in this paper concerning the Ghetto Free Press. This is an open invitation to all news media outlets in the Middle District of Georgia, including the Wilkinson County Post. I have never, on any video on YouTube, tried to say that this is a racial case. Let me repeat. To the Wilkinson County Post editor, this is what you wrote, but this is not what I have published. So on the basis of truth as recorded in St. John 8:32, and ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free. Permit me to say this to the Wilkinson County Post. Here's what I have said on my over 4,000 videos and 600,000 views from the people in America and across the nation. I have said that there is a pattern and practice that the new elected black mayors in the state of Georgia, starting with Quitman, Georgia, Meigs, Georgia, Davisboro, Georgia, Warrington, Georgia, Dawson, Georgia, Lumpkins, Georgia, Gordon, Georgia, and many other towns and cities that I have been called to. Editor of the Wilkinson County Post, and I have shown to you and the governor and the Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, and to Georgia Attorney General Sam Olens, and to Eric Holder of the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice, that something is seriously wrong along the lines of how apparently, based on what I have recorded and statements from citizens in these cities, along with the Quitman 10+2 in Quitman, Georgia, that was removed, 3 of them from office by Governor Nathan Deal, David Miller, Assistant Attorney Brad Shealy, and others, along with Mr. Boone at the post office in Quitman, who took official mail from mailboxes and gave information from those letters and ballots to a private entity. Moreover, editor of the Wilkinson County Post, I have said that the registrar in Brooks County, Georgia, took official Georgia ballots in Brooks County home with her, and that when Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp refused to take action along with the governor and the Georgia Attorney General, that this set a dangerous precedent in the state of Georgia and around the United States of America, that any registrar in the state of Georgia can take ballots home with them, and nothing will be done about it. Editor of the Wilkinson County Post, I haven't finished yet. You started this, so let me finish it. I have never, since 1975, made race an issue, although I was brought through my ancestral lineage to America on a race-related economic plan that history records for itself. I do not, I repeat, I do not have to regurgitate the history, for history was written before I was born. Don't play these games with the man of average intelligence, because it just don't work. Any citizen here in Gordon, when they read this paper, they won't see nothing for the most part of the beef of what took place at the Honorable or not so honorable Judge Robert S. Reeves' hearing. You didn't put in here about somebody going into the mayor's email account, did you? You didn't put anything in here for the most part about the other beef that took place in the courtroom. It seems as if though you don't want not only black people, but you don't want regular white folk to know what went on in this courtroom. And I'm gonna say the same thing because it must be said. I've served this nation for over 21 years in the United States Armed Forces. And we talked about freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of religion. And if this is the same paper that I read through other sources in other South Georgia towns, then there may be a reason why no truth can get out here in Gordon in terms of what the real issues are. Moreover, I was going to save this for a later date, but now God is using you to reveal the truth of what's going on here in Gordon. And I will assure you that God is the best knower, and we have always trusted in the God of our salvation. Do you not know editor of the Wilkinson County Post, that we didn't only fight to get the right to sit in the mayorship of Gordon, but we fought as a people just to be called a human being. We were brought to these shores in the year 1555 aboard a slave ship called Jesus. We couldn't vote. 3/5 of a human being. We couldn't even marry. We couldn't maintain a family relationship. And so for you and others to suppress the truth of this particular case and not inform white people, in my most humble opinion, it is a complete disgrace. But I'm going to say to you again, out of great respect and humility, including the black girl that worked for the Wilkinson County Post, whatever her name is, I'm not from here. I was called here in the same manner I was called to Quitman, Meigs, Dawson, Davisboro, Warrenton, and other places, because they know that somebody don't want all Americans to be treated fair and to be respected at the ballot box. And so there seem as if though there is a clique among the slicks to circumvent certain people taking power over these small cities where black African Americans, not black African Americans, where blacks, I can't say black African Americans because Africa name is not Africa. Africa is a European name that was stamped on black people on that continent. Africa is the name of a white European general. So I'm not going to say African American. It is time now that the truth of Jesus, the truth of Muhammad, the truth of Allah, the truth of Jah, the truth of Elohim, the truth of all the great worthies to be bubbled up, put in a bag together, wherein you say what Jesus said. Want for your neighbor that which you want and have for yourself. Now, I am beginning to question. I haven't been coming to Gordon that long, and I think I'm nearing my last visit to Gordon. I don't think I'll be coming back to Gordon too much now, because God have already decreed that this is in his hands now. And so all we have to do now is to sit back and watch and see what God will do. As it was in the days of old, so shall it be at the coming of the Son of Man. And who is the Son of Man but truth? For Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. And so if you don't come in truth, you're not going to God. You haven't seen Jesus. And you can go to church all you want, but the truth will reign supreme. Rest assured, I know the name of the editor. Notice I'm not calling her name. I do that for a reason. You will not find in any of my videos, outside of what the people say, when people call me all these dirty names. And I've been threatened. But look, let's face the facts, y'all. Do you not know, black people, that all white people are not your enemies? Let me repeat. Let me repeat. All white people are not your enemies. And all blacks, including those that work at TV stations, newspapers, and radio, are not your friend either. Remember that. Now, also remember, just because a person is black and serving in an elected position, whether it be city council, the Congress, the General Assembly, or wherever it may be, they're not necessarily your friend. You can tell who's your friend when you remember what David said. And what did David say? David said this, and I'm not reading from no script. Do you notice I'm not reading from no script? Do you know why I'm not reading by a script? Because God have called me, and he have so planted this in my heart. He has stamped it in my mind. And so what you are getting is hot from the press, not the Wilkinson County Free Press, but from the press that God put inside of me and thousands of others who's going to step out on the world stage and do what God called them in the world to do. And I'm going to close by saying this again. We as a people, we as a community, we as a state, nation, and world, we are not who we claim to be. In Gordon, in Meigs, in Quitman, in Dawson, in Davisboro, in Warrenton, or in Lumpkin. I forgot to mention Lumpkin, didn't I? Yeah, I was called to Lumpkin, where a sitting council member, a white lady, called the black mayor, Charles Gibson, a nigger. Now, I don't usually use that language, but they told me, don't use the N-word. Call it for what it is. And since they call me there, as they call me here and other places, and there are other people that's coming now. Now, she mentioned that the 2 national organizations, or 3, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, the Black Panther Party. Listen, 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 please, listen. We must understand something. We must understand that during the Civil Rights Movement, a lot of people fought the white, black, Japanese, Germans, Latinos, and others who was of the right mindset. They fought them all the way to the end. Then, after we finally acquired the right to vote, the right to be respected as any citizen in the United States, do you not know today will be just like yesterday, that the children of these same people today will look back on their parents, they'll ask a question. How could my mother and father be so far from what is right and what Jesus talked about in the volume of Sacred Law? Now, I'm going to say it again as I close out, because this is the 3rd time. I want it to be made very clear. All news media networks, 41, 13, 21, Telegraph, and the rest of it, including the Wilkinson County Post. I am willing any day to sit down with any of you at a round table with the public people in the audience and bring any question you like to me, any of them, and to any citizen here in Georgia, in the state of Georgia. If you want to sit down and tell your story, we are available. The reason why I'm available is because I believe, oh yeah, I believe in freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of religion, and your right not to say anything if you don't want to. And I have a right to, that when you call me all the dirty names that you've already called me, I have a right not to use those same words on you or direct them towards you, because it's not in my heart to do so. Other words, it's not the flavor of my nature, nor is it the nature of my flavor. So what I'm doing is doing what I do, because I'm good at showing love, because that's what my grandmother told me. Regardless of what they put on me, I am always going to stand up for what Jesus, Muhammad, Jah, Jehovah, Elohim, and all these other names that God has called. I'm always going to stand up for what is right in God's world. I want to be known as a person of righteousness. I could not sit in the courtroom and do what the Wilkinson County Post did or some other TV stations did. I will never ignore the news when I know there is news to be reported. Look, do you not know that in that courtroom over in Wilkinson County, do you know that it was brought out why the mayor got those keys? You published, Miss Editor, about the keys, but what you don't say and what you don't publish is this fact, that there was gas being taken from the city and the taxpayers in this city that Mayor Whipperloo was trying to get control over. Yes, so you can record me, it's all good. Come on with it, I'm good. I have nothing to hide. News media just pulled up. Anybody can record. I don't have nothing to hide. I wish all the news media was here. Why? Because this is the government that my friends gave their life for in Vietnam. This is the government that my people suffered, bled, and died for in the Revolutionary War. Even in the first war, before black folk could vote, sit on city council, or work for a newspaper like this and not report the black side of the news, we died like flies in the Revolutionary War. We fought fighting for our own liberation. And so I don't blame black folk for not understanding, for being deaf, dumb, and blind to the times, and unable to make intelligent decisions based on facts. So now I wasn't going to say all of this today. The Wilkinson County Post, don't blame me for what you hear. They are the ones that made this speech possible. They the one did this. And there gonna be some more. And there's a lot more that's going on behind the scenes that I wanna tell you, but the God of my salvation said the time is not yet. I want you to know something else too. You called and you published about Al Sharpton people and Jesse Jackson and the new Black Panther Party. But there's about 7 other groups you don't know about yet. And pretty soon, we're going to introduce you to them too. And some of them, you're going to be amazed what they already know about what is going on. Let me close, y'all excuse me. I thank the Post, but I thank you. I thank you Thank you very much. Look, do you not know that Governor Nathan Deal removed 3 of the Quitman 10+2 who was accused of alleged voter fraud? And we in that community don't believe they've done nothing wrong. We think that those in the cliques and among the slicks have crumped those people up on charges. Lula Smart now got to be tried for the 3rd time. The first trial was a mistrial. The second one was a mistrial. Now the 3rd, she's going back again. And nothing has happened. Absolutely nothing has happened. So I want to close now by saying this to you. The have not been told. But in the end, truth, right, and justice will win, because this is what God ordained. Once again, I'm not here to criticize the Wilkinson County Post. I'm here to say thank you very much. Do what you do, and keep publishing what is in your heart, and keep omitting the things that took place in that courtroom, because they are coming out more and more. You didn't say nothing about all these $37,000, or did you? Did you say anything about these other banking accounts that the auditor talked about? I didn't see where you talked about the auditor that much in it, but guess what? It's been recorded, and pretty soon we're going to have the transcript. We want everybody in Gordon to see and to know what the news media sat there in that courtroom. But they didn't report it to you. But soon every bit of it is going to be published before you, so the people in Gordon will know what the news media is doing. And they are the one who's really stirring the race issue. It's definitely not the ghetto free press. I will assure you of that. Now, put that in your pipe and smoke it. And I want you to know, if I hurt anybody's feelings, I apologize for that. But just remember, the working of God always comes after the working of Satan. Bye-bye, we go.
And your title?
I am a retired military veteran. I am the owner of the Ghetto Free Press. It is an independent press that I started using when I found out that the traditional news media would not report the news that took place in South Georgia. And so I have become the voice of many communities here in the state of Georgia. That's who I am.
Okay. Are you a Gordon resident?
I am not a Gordon resident, but when I served the United States of America, I served for Gordon, Brooks, and every other state and county in the state of Georgia, as well as the United States of America and outlying territories.
Okay, talk to me a little bit about it. How do you feel knowing that Gordon does not have any liability insurance?
I feel terrible. And I also believe that if all these years has transpired, and if they had liability insurance, it's amazing that after this new elected mayor came into office that they don't have it anymore. So I think that that is almost unbelievable. Just like I believe that there's a great possibility that people have circumvented Mr. Bassett from doing his audit and get it completed. We'll talk about Mayor Whipperloo, but we don't want to talk about the money. We don't want to talk about accountability to the tax-paying citizens here. We're talking about the keys being taken and doors being locked But we will not talk about the fact that gas was missing. I mean, that people was getting gas and that they had ran out of gas twice. That is not published in the newspaper, but it will be on YouTube.
Thank you so much.
I want some more, baby.
I know, but I gotta go. But I appreciate you gave me more than enough. Trust me, you gave me enough to look into.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Once again,
I didn't know that. Thank you.
Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, as I said before. We don't want to give you sound bites. We want to give you the total bite because you need all of that to get the proper nutrients so you can live and not die. And Jesus said, the people perish for the lack of knowledge. And so you got to have knowledge. You got to be able to look in the very word knowledge, for in the word knowledge are 7 words, and they all are in order. And so when I went to Meg's, I went in order. When I went to Quitman with James Brown III, I went in order. Don't talk so loud. Brother Lou, don't talk so loud. Brother Lou, don't talk so loud, please. And when I go to Meg's, Georgia, or Dawson, Georgia, wherever I go, I am always on point. I want to be right. I want to be exact. And above all, I want to act in the best behavior and in the best manner. Because after all, everything going down but truth. Jesus, the Messiah, made it unequivocally clear that heaven and earth would pass away, but his word would stand forever. And so as you hear the train blowing, this is what came through America in the 50s and 60s. And when it came through, it brought about change. But like the Quitman 10+2, when the change came, they tried to implement laws to circumvent the new reality. But there is something that's going on in God's world. He's saying that if we could fight in every war of this great nation, including the Revolutionary War, and protect Old Glory, then surely we should stand up today for what is right in God's world. This is the Ghetto Free Press, reporting what others ignore. And in the courtroom the other day, you should have been there. Yeah, you should have been there. Because I haven't seen yet the best example that I've seen in terms of what took place in that courtroom was the Telegraph. The Telegraph published, not the Wilkinson County Post. In fact, I want to know the real meaning of what's going on with the Wilkinson Post in comparison to, well, I'm going to save that for another day. Like I said, I got other people that are working something, and pretty soon the people will know it all. I got some more people over at another location want to tell their story. Yes, sir. And God knows we want to hear it. I just want to say once again, for the people in Duval County, the state of Florida, Georgia, and around the nation. Let me say this, CNN, ABC, Nightline, and the rest of you. I'm